There is more nuance to that MIT report than the market is giving credence to. Basically, it's saying, look, if you just try to make it up and perhaps build some ChatGPT-like products yourself, it didn't always work. But what have you been doing internally to make things work for Bank of America?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. And look, we get to serve 70 million clients every single day. And AI is not new to us. It's been part of our journey. So if I could offer you some sound bites of what we've seen in the last 5 years. 99% of our customers and clients today interact with us digitally, fully self-serviced.
99%?
99% of our interactions in the consumer business are self-service digital. We have 65% of our account opening is digitally done. 10 years ago, 0%. Yeah. Our client satisfaction number, which we care a lot about, has gone from the high 70s to 89.1, and yes, we're counting. And so you think about it, better client satisfaction, shift to more self-service channels, and more automation always yields great results. And AI has been part of that journey for us.
And I think of, as the client, the customer perspective is Erica.
Yeah.
But your client and your other stakeholders, like your own employee base, how have they been adopting generative AI? How have they been using assistants?
Yeah, and maybe if you just rewind the clock a bit, right? Our first journey into AI started with things like fraud models and fraud algorithms. We have 1,400 plus patents and 250 models in production with things like AI models. And what we realized 7, 8 years ago is humans wanted to interact with machines in a more humanistic fashion. And long before the large language models came along, we thought about things like Erica, which allows a customer to simply say a few words and for us to figure out what they want rather than them trying to figure out what our systems actually did. And that's where we've now seen significant adoption. So this morning we had a press release that we now have 3 billion transactions that have been conducted on Erica. And that continues to grow at an exponential pace. So that's our clients and customers saying, we actually like to engage with you in this way.
Yeah.
When you then pivot to our employee base, they're like, well, why can't we use the same capabilities? So we've taken this platform and broadened its use. So today, a high net worth advisor can actually look to Erica to say, look, I need to hear about some complex trust policy in Delaware. Can you summarize it for me and tell me how I should talk to the client about it? And one of the more recent implementation has been is, I'm about to meet a client. How do I prepare for that meeting? Before, a junior banker would take days to prepare a dossier for that. Now we can actually use generative AI models to create the first version of a draft that saves hours and minutes, if not time, which then drops to the bottom line.
Hari, I know in many ways this is your secret sauce, but I'm reading that you've got, what, 7,800 patents of your own. How much are you having to depend on purpose-built generative AI? How much are you looking to an open AI for the enterprise offering, or are you going to build it yourselves?
Well, I think we have a multi-level approach to this, right? We're not, we have enough reality to know that we're not going to go build foundation models.
Yeah.
We want to build upon all the investments that are happening in the industry. But the reason they're called foundation models is they let you do a lot of things on top of them. So we have a level of the stack where we absolutely will embrace commodity.
Which ones, out of interest?
Well, I think a little bit of everything, right? Okay. We are looking at it, and we intentionally want to be model agnostic, right? We intentionally do not want to be wedded to any one single solution. But then built upon it, when it comes to our complex workflows, when you think about our business processes, if it was just as simple as buy something off the shelf, every one of us would be done. The reality is you have to take these models in, and back to your productivity question, the way you unleash productivity is applying these to your business process. Understanding how your current process works. Don't just try to replicate it. Figure out where you can eliminate parts of it, simplify it, and then use AI to go after it. And what we've seen is it's yielded tremendous results for us.
I mean, you said, and we're counting. How are you measuring that productivity gain, apart from the sheer scale of interactions and numbers that you're seeing?
Yeah, I'll give you an example of it, right? We now have 17,000 developers in my own team that use coding agents to help their day-to-day activities. Within that, we actually measure things like cost per story point, defect density. There's a set of metrics, productivity metrics that we look at, and we look at it before and after. We expect to do similar things on a business process by business process basis to actually understand the metrics when we went into the problem, how we deploy these capabilities, because they're not cheap, so we need to make sure there's an ROI component to it, but coming out of it, be able to see what comes out and fail fast if it seems like a given process doesn't lend itself appropriately.
So I go to the sensitive question of those employees that are embracing these coding agents.
Yeah.
Do you hire fewer of them? How are they feeling about being augmented or replaced?
Well, I would say it actually allows us to get to a backlog we could never get to. There's always more work than you can get to. There's always things that you could modernize. There's always more things to do. And I actually tell you that our first reaction from our teammates has been this frees them to do more innovative work rather than the mundane work that was consuming their time and resources. And I think we're going to see that pattern play itself out over time.